Hi everyone, you're very welcome to week 3 of Make Code for Microbit. This week we're going to cover variables and conditions necessary for variables. But what exactly is a variable? Well, let's get started. So, variables are something that store information for us, but can change during our program. Okay, so that they can change as they go, or they can vary as the program goes along. And we need to create variables that we need for our program. For example, today we're going to be focusing on the emotion of our chosen animal. So we each researched an endangered animal, and we're going to be focusing in on the emotions that we want to give our endangered animal. So emotion is going to be our variable. Okay, and depending on the emotions you want to give your animal, there are loads and loads of different emotions. So it could vary 5 times, or it could vary 6 times, or it could vary 3 times. It depends on how many emotions you want to give to your endangered animal. So your animal could be happy when it's playing. It could be angry when it's hungry. It could be scared when it's being chased by another animal. It could be worried when it can't find maybe some of its friends. So you can give it lots of different emotions. So you can decide on the number of variants or the number of conditions you're going to need to set for your variable. Okay, so you need to decide on that. And then you need to set the conditions. So you need to say what happens when your animal is happy, what happens when your animal is sad, and what happens when your animal is worried or scared. Okay, so that's what a variable is. And to set those conditions, we're going to use if-then else statements. So they check our code to see if certain situations are present. So if happy, then do something. So if the animal is happy, they will see that that certain situation is present, and they will then show what that happens if the animal is happy. So, for example, if we're monitoring our emotions, if I am happy, then I will smile. Else, I will not smile. Okay, so I'll be angry, or I could be scared, or I could be worried, or I could be loads of different things, but I won't be smiling. I'll only smile if I'm happy. Okay, and I'm happy, so I'll smile. Okay, so I am the first condition. If I'm happy, which I am, I'll smile. So I smiled. Else, I will not smile. So I'm not going to not smile because I'm happy. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And I just want to mention that you can pop this video on pause at any point if you want to take more time to figure out your blocks or to work through things. Okay, so don't be afraid to pop the video on pause. So sometimes we might have longer conditions. For example, if it is sunny and dry, then I will be happy. Because if it's sunny and dry, then I'll be able to go out and play with my friends, or my animal will be able to play with their friends. So if it's sunny and dry, they'll be happy. Else, if it is windy and wet, so if it's windy and wet, then I'll be sad because I won't be able to play. Okay, so if it's sunny and dry, I'll be happy. Else, if it's windy and wet, well, I'll be sad. And else, the only other option, so if it's not sunny and dry, and if it's not windy and wet, so if it's maybe snowing, I'll be ecstatic. Okay, so that's 3 different conditions. So the conditions are sunny and dry, windy and wet, and finally snowy, or any other option. Maybe hailstones, maybe thunderstorm. Okay, so they're my conditions. And if it's sunny and dry, I'll be happy. Windy and wet, sad. And else, or any of the other conditions, I'll be ecstatic. Okay, so they're setting our conditions. So today we're going to be focusing on giving our chosen endangered animal some emotions. So last week we focused on different inputs, like on button A pressed, on shake, we use some starter blocks, for example, on start. We also learned how to create an animation using the illusion of movement and a loop block. We came across some bugs and we were able to debug and fix any errors in our code. So we covered a lot last week, but we're going to build upon that knowledge this week, and we're going to move on, and we're going to create our own variable called emotion, and we're going to give our variable some different options. We're going to give it different variants or different conditions. So we're going to have to choose how many emotions we want to give our animal. And I would like if you give your animal at least 3 emotions. So I want you to give it 3 or more. Okay, so you can go 3, 4, 5, however many you want after 3. Okay, so I want you to give your animal 3 different emotions, and then you need to set the conditions for each of the different emotions. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to go straight across into make code for Microbit. So again, I'm going to type in Microsoft make code for Microbit. And I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to click into Microsoft make code for Microbit. Okay, so again, we're back in the home page. Lots of different things on our homepage that can be of use to us if we have some spare time and we want to go through those. However, I'm going to get started and I'm going to call my program week 3, because we're on week 3 of our coding. So we've our simulator to the left, our categories in the middle, and our workspace to the right. And I'm going to delete our on start and our forever block because we don't need them just yet. Whoop. We don't need them just yet. Okay, so now I'm going to have a think about it. I'm going to create a variable because I'm going to create the variable I'm going to need in my program, which is going to be emotions. So the very first thing I need to do is I need to create my variable. So I need to create my variable in the variables category. And I need to click on make a variable because I'm creating the variable that I want in my program, which is emotion. Okay, and I'm going to click OK. And then 3 blocks are going to appear in the variable category. So there's 3 new blocks there. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my variable. So I'm going to drag out set my variable. I'm going to pop it there. Now it's after going grey and yellow, which means there's a bug in my code. And the reason why it went grey and yellow is I've no input block, or I've no starter block. I've no block at all. So I need to bring out a C-shaped block. I'm going to bring out on shake, and I'm going to wrap it around my set emotions block. Okay, so now when I shake the microbit, I'm setting my emotion. However, I want my animal to have how many different emotions? Well, I want it to have happy. I want it to have sad. I want it to have silly. And I want it to have worried. Happy, sad, silly, worried. Okay? So I'm going to have 4 different emotions. So I've chosen that I'm going to have 4. You can have as many as you want once you have more than 3. So I want my animal to pick the different emotions at random. So I don't want to tell it when it's happy and press A. I want it to pick it at random. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go to the math section and I'm going to bring out the pick random block. And I'm going to guide it into this circular shaped block here where the 0 is. And I know that they're both round blocks, so they should fit in one another. And it's after highlighting, so I'm going to let it go. And it's after slotting in. And I wanted to pick random between 1 and 4 because I'm giving my emotion 4 options: happy, sad, silly, and worried. I'm giving it 4 different options, so I wanted to pick between 1 and 4. So that's the first thing I need to do. So I have set my emotion to pick randomly between 1 and 4. And now I need to go and set the conditions for each of my 4 variants. So all of my emotions, I need to set the conditions for each of my 4 emotions: happy, sad, silly, and worried. Okay, so I need to go down to logic, and I need to bring out my if, true, then else block. So I'm going to go down and bring this if, true, then else block out, and I'm going to bring it and embed it underneath where I've set my emotion. Okay, so now if I shake my microbit, I have set the emotion to pick randomly between 4 different emotions. Okay, if it picks the first one, then it needs to show happy. Okay, I'm going to have my very first emotion as happy. So happy is going to be number 1. Okay, but I need something here that allows me to say if emotion equals 1, then show a happy face. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to get this comparison block, and I'm going to drag it in, and it's diamond shaped and it's similar in shape to this true block, and see if I can replace it in there. And I'm going to let it go. Okay, so now I'm going to say that if my emotion is equal to 1, so if it's equal to 1, then show happy. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my variables and I'm going to see here's a little circular block of emotion, and I think that will fit in where the first 0 is. So I have to be careful where I'm putting it, that it goes into the right place. So if emotion is equal to 1, then show the string happy. So I'm going to have my string as happy, and I'm going to put a happy face in. So I'm going to bring this right up, and I'm going to give my animal 2 eyes, and I'm going to give it a happy face. Okay, so that's if 1 is chosen, if variable 1. Okay, so that's the conditions for 1. Now I need to give it the conditions for 2, 3, and 4. So if it's sad, silly, or if it's worried. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to get that diamond shaped block that was up here. I need to get it over here. So in order to do that, I need to expand out my block by using this little plus symbol. And then the diamond shape reappears. So now I have if, then, else, if, then. So I need to go back and I need to get my comparison block. 0 is equal to 0, and I need to guide it into that diamond shaped area. And now again, I'm going to get my emotions block to say if my emotion is equal to 2 this time. Well done. So if it's not equal to 1, it's equal to 2, 3, or 4. So I'm going to pick 2 as my second one. And I'm going to go in order. Because something that's very important when you're coding is that you follow a correct sequence. So when I'm coding, I always follow the correct order. You could start at 4, 3, 2, 1, and you could do that and it would work. But I like to follow the correct sequence: 1, 2, 3, 4. So if my emotion is equal to 2, then show me a sad face. So I'm going to show the string sad. And this time I'm going to go in and drag out my show icons block and drag it in underneath. And I'm going to use the drop down arrow on my icon block to see if there's any sad face. And there is a sad face, so I'm going to click on that one. Okay, so now if it picks 1, it's going to show happy. If it picks 2, it's going to show sad. And now I need to finish off the conditions for 3 and 4. So again, I'm going to expand out my block so that the diamond shape reappears. I'm going to go back in and get my comparison block. And I'm going to say if my emotion, or if my animal's emotion, is equal to 3 this time, if it's equal to 3, then show silly. And show the face silly. So I'm going to drag out the tongue face, which is the silly face, from here. And now I'm going to have a look at my code. So when I shake the microbit, it's going to set the emotion to pick randomly between my 4 emotions. So it's going to pick a random emotion out of my 4. So if it picks 1, it's going to be the happy face, and it's going to say happy. If it picks a 2, it's going to say sad, and it's going to show the sad face. If it picks a 3, it's going to say silly and pick the silly tongue out face. And if it picks a 4, or the only other option it has, then it's going to show the worried face. Okay? So we've had to get the diamond shape for 1. It was there for 1. We had to get it for 2 and 3. However, for 4, we don't need to get the diamond shape because we've got our conditions for 1. So if emotion is equal to 1, then happy. Else if emotion is equal to 2, then sad. Else if emotion is equal to 3, silly. So we've happy, sad, silly. So we've got our conditions for 1, 2, and 3. So the only other option our program has is to pick 4. It can't pick 5 because we have set it to pick between 1 and 4. And we have told it what instructions it needs to follow if it picks a 1, if it picks a 2, and if it picks a 3. So the only other option it has is to pick a 4. So this time we don't need to expand out our block at all. All we need to do is show the string worried, and we need to find a face to show that our animal is worried. Confused, angry, asleep, surprised, silly, fabulous, meh. Let me see what one I'll go with. I think the confused one looks a bit worried. Okay, I think I'm going to go with that one because when you're worried, you're like, and your mouth goes a funny shape. So I think I'm going to go with that one. So I'm going to have a look down through my code and make sure that I'm happy with all of my blocks and with all of my instructions. And then I'm going to run my code and test it out. So on shake, set emotion to pick randomly between 1 and 4. So it's going to pick between 1 and 4. If the emotion is equal to 1, show happy and the smiley face. Else, if emotion is equal to 2, show the string sad and show the sad face. Else, if the emotion is equal to 3, then show the string silly and show the tongue out face. Or else, so if it's not any of the above, 1, 2, or 3, then show the conditions for 4, which is worried and the worried or confused face. Okay, so let's have a try. So I'm going to shake my Microbit and see what it throws up at me. So happy. So it's after picking number 1, and it should show me the happy face. Great. Now I'm going to shake it again and see what it gives me. Oh, another happy. So just like a dice, it can throw the same number, it can throw the same emotion more than one time in a row. We'll go again. Third time lucky, we'll get maybe something different. Oh, this time it's sad. And we give it one more go. Worried. Okay, so that's how you create a variable. And our variable was our emotion because we have chosen our endangered animal. We know their population. We created a resting face in week 2 for our endangered animal. And now in week 3, we're creating emotions using variables and conditions. We're creating more than one emotion, more than one face. We're creating more than 3 emotions for our animal. So we can give them different situations that if they're happy, when they're playing, maybe they're sad when they're hungry, and maybe they're worried when they're being chased by another animal or when they're being poached. Okay, so that's all for this week. Now I want you to focus on your animal. I want you to think about the animal you've chosen, and I want you to create a variable for your animal's emotions. I want you to choose which emotions you want to give your animal, and I want you to come up with more than 3 emotions, okay, using the logic block. And then I want you to allow your animal, when the program is ran, to pick their emotions at random, so that their emotions are going to be picked like mine. They're going to come up randomly. So they might be worried twice in a row, just like mine was. But then in 5 minutes' time, when they get fed, maybe they're going to be a different emotion. So let's see. Maybe they're going to be sad because they didn't get enough food. Okay, so now I want you to go and get coding, and I look forward to seeing you in week 4.